Action News, elevating Las Vegas. Good morning, Las Vegas.
MGM Resorts is working on a settlement over the 1 October tragedy. How much the victims could receive.
Burn in hell. Rosa Parks, I'll slap that as well. Why?
Well, CCSD responding to a racist video by a student on Snapchat. What the student was doing when you hear him say the N-word. Plus,
an SAT score should not be the thing that completely holds you back.
A big change on the SAT helps those who've experienced adversity. Why some oppose the change. Good morning, Las Vegas. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Beth Fisher.
And I'm Dana Roselli. It is Friday, and boy, Justin, I am so glad that wind died down. What a nuisance yesterday.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of dust blowing around, some 40-mile-per-hour gusts yesterday. Showers, thunder showers, mainly moving around the valley and not right through. Will be dry all day long today here in town. It's chilly this morning, 53 around Anthem, 52 in Boulder City, 51 in Summerlin, and it's only 54 in Centennial Hills. Officially, it's 57 at McCarran. It's way below average for the middle of May in the morning. Sunshine this morning, a few more clouds middle of the day. Temperatures only climbing back into the low 70s. There will be less wind today versus what we were dealing with yesterday. Marissa, some sunshine for the Friday morning commute. Maybe a stray sprinkle. Middle of the day, probably not. We'll talk about temperatures into the weekend next.
Justin, thank you. Well, taking a look at the traffic maps, pretty green across the board. Still early this Friday morning, but I am seeing one crash being reported on the 215 North right at Town Center. Taking a look at our traffic cameras, that right shoulder is blocked right now. Just a heads up if you drive in that part of town. Northwest part of Valley, the Sky Canyon Park Drive on-ramp to the 95 North will be closed for most of the day today, including that morning commute if you're headed out the door right now. So enter the 95 North from Durango instead this morning.
All right, Marissa, thank you. MGM Resorts says it may have to pay $800 million to settle liability lawsuits stemming from the 1 October tragedy. The company expects to reach a settlement by next May. MGM says it has more than $750 million in insurance to pay toward a potential settlement. The lawyer representing many of the plaintiffs says they have a long way to go before making any kind of agreement.
There's no agreement on amount of money. Various numbers have been thrown out there during this process, but we do not have an agreement on anything.
Coming up at 5, we'll have more reaction from the attorney representing many of the victims.
Burn in hell. Rosa Parks, I'll slap that as well. Why? Need to learn.
This morning, parents and several groups are condemning this racist video involving a CCSD student that is making the rounds on social media. The video, posted on Snapchat, shows the student repeatedly saying the N-word. CCSD says it is aware of the video and is now investigating. This is the latest racial incident in the district in the past weeks. The teen in this video actually appears to be repeating lyrics to a song by an artist called Bobby Two Pistols. One parent says that's not an excuse.
If you want the respect, you should give it. So whether it was a song or not, doesn't matter. That's null or void. You know what to say and what not to say. He's not 3.
Well, the Anti-Defamation League of Nevada says that there needs to be a serious conversation between parents and students within the Clark County School District about what is appropriate and also what is unacceptable. Right now, it's unclear what, if anything, will happen to the student in that video. And this comes on the heels of another example of discrimination at CCSD. A girl at Escobedo Middle School got an anti-Semitic note at school. The student's father reported the note to the school, and CCSD says that the student who left it was disciplined. And back in March, you may remember, 2 students at Arborview High School were arrested for posting disturbing racist pictures to Instagram. Was threatening a Columbine Part 2 against black students at that school.
Now to a big change on the SAT when it comes to how students earn their score. The organization behind the exam says all test takers will now get a so-called adversity score that reflects their socioeconomic background. The score will be calculated from 1 to 100, factoring in the crime rate and poverty level in the student's neighborhood, as well as their parents' income. The College Board, which oversees the SAT, says race is not a factor in the scoring.
Imagine that student who's grown up with less, made a ton out of it. That's a great person to let in to your highly resourced college, because imagine what they'll do when they have all those resources.
The scores will not be revealed to test takers, but schools will see the numbers when reviewing college applications. This program is already underway in about 50 universities. They're doing a test run, but they're planning to roll it out to 150 universities by the fall. Opponents say the change could put better performing students at a disadvantage. The College Board says that won't happen. And as you know, all of this comes on the heels of that scandal involving the SATs. Giant stickers that look like pills are dropping jaws at the Palms.
Chopper 13 giving us a look at the display yesterday. There it is. 13 Action News has learned that this is all part of a larger piece of artwork that can be found outside and inside the Empathy Suite. Well, a woman we spoke with who lost her son to opioids says she spotted it days ago on the anniversary of her son's death.
I wouldn't even call it a piece of art. I would call it something that is like a constant reminder to people who have lost their kids, to people who are using, to active users out there.
Well, we did ask the Palms for a statement regarding this mother's concerns, but they told us simply no comment. Well, one of the state's deadliest stretches of roads could now be safer for pedestrians. This week, NDOT wrapped up a $1.5 million project on Boulder Highway. Crews installed flashing beacons, warning signs, and new crosswalks. According to the Department of Public Safety, nearly 9% of all pedestrian deaths in the state have happened on Boulder Highway since 2006. In a statement, Tony Ilio with NDOT told 13 Action News the character and the composition of Boulder Highway has changed since it was built, and the changes help adapt the roadway for its current usage. Well, it is one of the most popular weekends here in Las Vegas, and we're talking about EDC. It kicks off today.
Thousands of people will flock to the Las Vegas Speedway. About 150,000 a night attend. People will be staying all over the valley, and Clark County Code Enforcement tells us this time of year we see an uptick in illegal party houses.
It's a huge problem for those neighbors, and that's why it's important to us to address it as quickly as possible and to try to shut them down.
Getting in touch with Code Enforcement is easy, online or by calling their office.
All right, be safe, everyone. An officer-involved shooting near a Las Vegas country club. The voicemail the suspect left for a family member before allegedly pointing a gun at officers.
Plus, want to get away? When you can take a direct flight from the valley to Tel Aviv.
We've got some pretty decent weather to enjoy, especially for this time of spring. Cooler than average. Mid-70s today, warming to the low 80s on Saturday. Back down, cooler in the 70s on Sunday. We'll time out some pretty significant wind with the 7-day planner.